Hey neighbors, welcome to another episode of the Weekly Bite News and Information. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content, and if anything, let me know what you guys think about any of these new card reveals and news information. Without further ado, let's begin. So first we have ourselves some cards from the D-Set Special Series set that's supposed to be revealed relatively soon in JP. And we happen to have ourselves the Grade 2, which is the Seal Blaze Dragon Alchimia. It has a skill of, when this unit is placed on a rearguard circle, perform all the effects according to the arms that you have on your Vanguard circle. If you happen to have a right arms, it gets plus 10k until end of turn. And if it has a left arms, you can choose one grade 1 or less card from your drop zone, call it a rearguard circle. This solves a whole lot of issues that the archetype did have, something for being able to play in the mid game, especially in first grade 3 right turn. And you can even call your trick moons out. I think this is a pretty good exceptional card. There's very little to say about it. This is a very good card, and you might want to at least considering picking it up if you do happen to have any grade 2 slots over that you have some space for. Now we have ourselves Nirvana support in a grade 1, Blaze Maiden Amelia. Act rearguard circle if you have a Vanguard Nirvana in its card name and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. Counterblast 1, put this into your soul. Choose up to one unit with Nirvana in its card name from your hand and write it as stand. If you wrote, you cannot write by card effects until the end of turn. So you can't use this skill again. So, I mean, you get a ride. And needs to just have Nirvana in a card name. So you can just write the Maha Nirvana. So the grade 4 you could just write out of your hand. Or you can go for Persona Ride if you're still playing the grade 3 variant. This card is good. The only issue is, do you have enough space for this? Because you are running some of the other monks, the other fighters. You are probably also having some space issues because obviously you want to keep on playing Trick Stars. And even some lists have been opting to play Trick Moons as your starter. So who knows if you'll have enough space for this. You could possibly run this as a 2 of. But it's very good include in a variant of being able to get a grade 4 turn earlier than most grade 4 decks could. Or Persona Ride turn off quicker than most decks will ever be able to. So this, I would keep my eyes out for this card. And then we also got revealed today, the SSRs is one of the rarities for some of the new archetypes that we're getting in the new special set series. We have the Regius Orphis, and we have the Equals Zorga, also being printed hot stamped SSRs signed by either the voice actors or the artists themselves. It is crazy. This is I've never really been much for SPs and high rarity cards much outside of like Zorga. And I'm possibly contemplating picking up both of these, at least one copy, because it's going to be in your right deck. It's an artwork you'll see a whole lot of. You can kind of use your player skill. Like obviously in tournaments you have to ride on top of it, but in a friendly setting, you'll always have this on top of everything else, especially for your Persona Ride turns. It's kind of nutty. I like it a lot. That is it for us. The relevant information for us as Western players. They have some Daibanga size and event tournaments that are happening currently in that are planned to happen in JP. There's also some VMC championships and stuff coming up soon there. So keep posted for those. Take a look at the official Twitter of the Bushiroad Cardfight Vanguard. And hopefully they can keep you updated on any other content and information that's going to be posted there. Without further ado, let's take a look at some information on the Vanguard Zero front. We have ourselves the Side Blessing and Side Judgment, a duo set. supposed to come out relatively soon. We'll be right here. We do have some cards and information to show you out of the set already. I'm not sure how to feel about this yet. We're having a dual set, and the last time that this happened, which was set 4, where we had to have 2 joined sets because we had a in-between month that was skipped of a set release. It did hamper the game a little bit. A lot of people did end up being hyped, a lot of people did end up dropping, and currently the player confidence in the game has waned a little bit as of recent with Vanguard 0, but not completely entirely. Of course, there is some devout fans of Cardfight Vanguard 0 already still. So trust, I'm not saying I'm not saying that, oh my god, this is the end. That's not what I'm saying. Just saying this is interesting that they're trying to do this. And do you happen to have any reason as to why do you guys think that you might want to pick something like this? I have seen other content creators like J.J Here put up his own thoughts on what he feels about this archetype set. Because we have Laura support, so Bermuda Triangle, Pale Moon, Neo Nectar, and Grand Blue. All really good archetypes. And then we also have Link Joker, Gear Chronicle dual support, so we'll have the Machina series, revolves around time and your top deck manipulation. It has a alternate win condition, which is pretty sweet, I ain't gonna lie to you. And then we also have some Royal Paladin support, and we're getting ourselves Fides. It's also during the Ace Arc era, or Arc, Ace Arc. And we're gonna get introduced to the newest antagonist, Ryuzu is his name, right? Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the strides and some of the units that are gonna be introducing here. Let's see. Act. Once per turn, turn a card in your G zone face up. This is Blading Sword Fides. To perform the following 2 effects. Call a grade 2 from your deck. If it has ability, Brave ability, draw a card. Gain the following ability until the end of turn. Generation Break 3. Brave. Brave is a mechanic that if you have 3 LS cards in your hand, you get to activate certain effects. That is what it did in the TCG. I don't know if it's going to be the same here in Vanguard 0, but that's what it did. If you have a face-up Blazing Sword Fides in your G-Zone, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards or retire it, and 2 of your units get plus 5k power until end of turn. The plus side of this card, it needs just only to attack, so you can attack a rear guard with your Vanguard and retire the other rear guard. So if your opponent has probably 1 intercept with resist, you attack the rear guard with resist, and you have 2 rear guards with 5k bonuses. Your opponent probably might be on 4, and you still get off your PG check for the turn, which is pretty good. This is a good include in any Royal Paladin strategy that you may have, and you don't you will possibly have to get a second copy of this to benefit from the retire, but you don't have to have Fides face up to benefit from the superior call. So take this with a grain of salt. And being able to call off of your first stride turn, retiring a rear guard and pushing pressure, if you're probably calling Blasted Spirit, it's not a bad card. This is not bad. This is pretty interesting. Let's see. Counter Offensive Knight Soleiman. Generation Break 1. Brave. So it has a Brave keyword. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater alt mile, this unit gets plus 3k power during both turns. That is an immense buff. In a TCG, this only had plus 3k during your turn, and only when you're attacking. So this is alright. This is alright. So he gives you a 12k intercept that your opponent has to attack into, but you do need to be brave. You do need to be in brave state. A bit of an odd one, but okay. Then we have Generation Break 1. When this attacks a Vanguard, if you have grade 3 or grade Alt Mile, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast, Counterblast 1, discard a card. Then call a grade 2 from your deck other than Counteroffensive Suleiman, and it gets plus 2k, and that unit gets plus 2k. So you get a little bit of multi-attack chains going on. So I guess what you could possibly do here is you can attack GB3 with Fides into our rearguard, retire the opponent's other rearguard, attack unboosted with Suleiman. Suleiman calls Twin Sword gets Suleiman, and then finally attack with the last Suleiman with boost this time, since you can choose 2 rearguards to give 5k power. So you get a pretty juicy multi-attack going. This was nice. Let's see. Generation Break 1, Brave. At the end of turn, retire this unit, draw 1 card and card charge 2. This does help if you happen to want to play any of the Blaster Spirit Engine or Blaster Blade Engine in All Mile still. Then we have Hope Keeper. It's a Sentinel. Some of the Sentinels we're going to be getting in Giera are going to have added effects on rearguard circles, either being able to bounce themselves back to hand, or fetch themselves from your drop zone, or bind zone back to your hand. Just a bunch of multifaceted ways of being able to get extra mileage from your perfect cards. So we have Hope Keeper, Sentinel, so you can only have 4 of it in your deck. When your Vanguard is hit, if you do not guard, Perfect Guard is activated, obviously, that's how it works. Generation Break 1, Brave. When placed, this gets plus 2k, and the following ability to the end of turn. At the end of turn, Counterblast 1 to return this to your hand. So with Brave, you having to be around 3 cards in your hand can sometimes be a bit difficult. I think in Vanguard 0 it's a bit easier because you don't build large hand in Vanguard 0. Some decks do. Royals might from time to time, based if you're playing draw triggers still, or if you might end up swapping to stand triggers. There might be, due to the introduction of Brave and having inherent draw and recursion, you might end up playing less draw triggers, possibly, or maybe only running like 4 draw triggers or 5 draw triggers, and I'm mostly running like stands or crits purely, to be able to force your opponent to guard more and get extra aggression out of them, which is pretty cool. I like it. And this PG being able to go back to your hand is all bonus, all aces. And it being a booster allows you to just get so much cool stuff off that you wouldn't otherwise would. Flower Princess of Balmy Breeze, Imatar. Let's see, Generation Break 2. Once per turn, Counterblast 1 and then Persona Blast. Okay. Draw 1 card. Choose one of your other rearguards with the Bloom ability, and all your units with the same name as a chosen unit gain the following ability on the end of turn. When this unit hits a Vanguard, draw a card. That's kind of nuts. That's so good. That's so good for a Persona Blast. I don't know if you have that much space in Neo Nectar. Do you even have that much space in Neo Nectar anymore? Because it's 8 G-Zone slots. So what will you get rid of? I guess you would get rid of the other one that gives you power on your opponent's turn. I guess you remove that for the extra draw, so you can hit PGs and Heal Guardians. Poof, that is... I don't know. When it... Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When it hits the Vanguard, draw a card. Additionally, at the beginning of this turn's battle phase, if you have 3 more rearguards with the Bloom ability, until the end of turn, this unit gets +1 critical, and one of your rearguards can attack from the back row. So more multi-attack, more back row rearguard attacks. So you possibly might give this to a booster, because you could also give it power, since most Bloom ability units do gain power anyway, and you only need to retire a rearguard. And you probably still might want to run a couple copies of Lydia Gladiolis still, unless you really don't need to anymore. And Original Asha is still going to be pretty good for a while, since we don't have any new Ashas yet. Unless, I mean, obviously we're probably going to get new versions of Asha, but it depends on like what skill they want to give the new version of Asha. It's so many hypotheticals. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Summer Heights Flower Maiden, Marjuka. Generation Break 1 once per turn. When your opponent's card effect chooses one of your rear guards with a bloom ability, draw a card. That's funny. That's super funny. So you get rewarded for getting targeted by your opponent's removal, and you get to draw a card. That's funny. And it being on Vanguard Circle gives you a fun budget option if you don't have or earn any Ashas. And he has a rearguard skill, boom, once per turn. When your other rearguard of Summer Height Maiden Marjuka is placed until end of turn, one of your other units gets 3k power. If the chosen was Sweet Maiden Rani, it gets the following ability. When he hits, draw a card. There's a lot of draw power in here. It's a lot of draw power this coming set for JP. Sunwheel Maiden Rowny. Generation Break 1, Bloom. When all your rearguards with its Sweet Maiden Rowny is placed, all your rearguards with Summer gives the following ability. For each of your units with a Bloom ability, this gets plus 1k. Oof. Okay, so this is going to continuously, not continuously stack, but this is going to give possibly plus 9k. 9k power to your front row. Or if you're having more copies that can attack from the back row, it can get up there. And the rearguard circle and deck, this is also considered a Marjuka. Wow. So okay, it feeds into itself. So now this has Generation Break Run, rearguard circle, Bloom. When your other rearguard name Cherry Blossom Maiden Lilga. Okay, it's placed. Canvas 1. Return this to your hand. So there is gonna come to a point where you're gonna be able to copy multiple copies of this, and you'll have multiple PGs called out to your deck. Then you'll also be able to... There is so many cool things you can do this. You can also play Maiden of decks. So the Maiden of strategy and stuff. And then you can end up copying any of the rearguards you have. And then those rearguards will be able to like re-add themselves back to your hand. You get draw, you get multi-attacks, you get on crit pressure. This set is looking to be pretty juicy for Vanguard 0. So if you guys are excited for this, let me know in the comments below. This has been your boy JJ, and until next time, take care.
Another word, please be true. Another word, I love.